10 live wires will be given a unique opportunity to share their creativity with the world and become the next top live wire. I'm your host, Heather Boyd, and this is Live Wires for the Win Season 5. 6 weeks of wire art challenges, countdown to one winner of the grand prize of a $100 gift certificate for my Etsy shop, the Top Live Wire 2026 trophy, and $200 in wire and tools from Beadalon. Your judges are wire artist Heather Boyd and multimedia artist and author Patricia Srigley. Hello, Live Wires. Welcome to week 5, the semifinals of Live Wires for the Win Season 5. Welcome back to my fellow judge, Patricia Srigley.
Hello.
Hey, Patricia. Great to
Hi.
see you again. Can't believe we're already at the semifinals. It's pretty amazing. So this is going to be an exciting episode, and we had a tricky theme. So without further ado, let's get into the submissions. This week's theme is all shapes and sizes. And as always, this theme can be explored in any way that the participants like. So our first entry is Sharon, and Sharon writes, "Let me say I haven't made it past episode 3 for the past 5 seasons, so I'm very excited to have made it to the semifinals this year. All shapes and sizes, just saying that didn't really narrow it down much, but I think that's why it was so much fun. When I thought of all shapes and sizes, I thought of all the different face shapes that people have and what hairstyle that you see on social media ads that would go best with those face shapes. Then I thought of Andy Warhol, and I just took off from there. Here are 4 face shapes and their respective perfect hairstyle. I've included a heart, round, oval, and triangle shaped face. The many different colors of gauges of wire I use were a combination of Beadalon artistic wire and the copper wire I always get at Lowe's. I wanted to showcase the wire weaving techniques that I've learned over the past 5 or 6 years too. There's a lot going on in this piece, but I think that's what we all are as people. We are all different sizes and shapes, and may I add colors too. Each individual section has its own personality and connection. This piece would make a great wall hanging. It measures 16 by 11 inches and is an example of myself and my personality. Lots of little details I think will bring a smile to your face. Love the guy inside the guitar. Had to include him." Sharon sent us a few images. This is her full piece, and we're going to go back to see the details. So here's the detail of the heart-shaped face. Lots of details with the weaving and all the spirals and twists. Love the different colored wires. Here's the guy, the triangle guy with the guitar and the open mouth. Looks like he's singing. And another face with the circle and lots of weaving going on there. Lots of textures, lots of colors, and this oval shaped one with the really funky multicolored hair and the eyes with all the weaving. I love that Sharon included her inspiration of Andy Warhol. And you can just imagine his 4-panel Marilyn Monroe with all the bright pop art colors. And she's Sharon styled it with her nice loose wire work and her whimsical shapes and colors. And so I really like that inspiration for her and that she did it in a different way. So rather than have like 4 panels, very geometric and grid-like, she staggered them a little bit so it looks a little bit different and a little more visually interesting. I really love the concept too of working with people's face shapes. You hear about that all the time, people's face shape and what you can do to complement the face shape and the right hairstyle for the shape. And so with the theme shapes and sizes, it makes a lot of sense. It really works well with the theme. And I love that she'd stayed with her own style with lots of details and looseness, but yet still very readable as wire art. I thought this was a really fun piece. I really enjoyed it and always enjoy Sharon's descriptions. And I'm very happy that she's in the semifinals this year. Sharon was the original OG participant of Livewires for the Win, and she was the very first person to apply to participate when I started the show 5 years ago. So that's awesome. Great job, Sharon. And Patricia, what did you think of Sharon's work?
Oh, I just loved it. It's so playful and colorful, and it is like an abstract art piece you would hang on the wall. And like you said, the offset squares really enhance that. Each of these faces has its own character and and just so much fun, funky, and yeah, it's like art on your wall. Beautiful.
Good job, Sharon. Next, we have Julie, and Julie writes, for this week, I drew inspiration from Picasso and his amazing use of all shapes and sizes to create his Cubist paintings. I also, just like he did, used many colors for the different shapes in this face. I'm very proud of this piece. Getting the eyes to look like eyes, despite being mismatched, was very hard. And Patricia, what do you think of Julie's work?
I thought it was really interesting that with such an open concept, like the two artists came up with something similar, the abstract faces from very well-known artists. So I thought that was really cool. And yeah, this does look very Picasso-ish. And I really liked how each of her shapes fitted together like a puzzle piece. All the colors, and you can see the double lines where they're fitted together. Yeah, another amazing artwork. And I like the thicker wire too, because then you could see the colors and the shapes all that much clearer. So yeah, beautiful work.
Here's another image from Julie, to show it on a light background. And this is really interesting to see her
Mhm.
sketch and then all the pieces that she's designed to fit, like you said, as a puzzle piece. I really love seeing people's preliminary sketches. So this was really wonderful that she included that. And here's a little close up showing the details of how she's attached the pieces together. Yeah, Julie did a wonderful job. It's very well constructed, very solid, finished piece of artwork. I wouldn't add any more details to it. I like the simplicity of it, yet it's very complex to construct and to put together. It's very Picasso-ish, and Picasso makes things look so easy, but when you really try to make amazing art like that, it's not always such an easy task, but she's accomplished making a very Picasso-esque piece of art. And I love that the eyes are staggered and it still reads as a face. There was an exhibition at Stewart Hall, which is a local art gallery in Point Claire, and they had an exhibition called Three-Way Mirrors. And we participated in an exercise. It was an adult workshop. And so we had a bunch of people around the table, and you'd have a piece of paper and you'd have to draw the person beside you, and then you would pass the paper and then they would draw the eye or something, and then you'd pass it on and the other person would draw your nose but from a different point of view. So you ended up having a portrait of yourself done by five different artists in one piece, and you would see the face from different points of view. So this reminds me of that, where you kind of see like the side view, but yet you also see like the front view and a little bit like the other side, and seeing a face or a head from different points of view, but trying to translate that into a two-dimensional surface. So I thought that was brilliant. I think she really succeeded with the visual effect. I love the colors, that she's varied the colors and they work together to really make it pop. I think Julie did a wonderful job. Great job, Julie. Next, we have Evelyn, and Evelyn writes, I'd like to teach the world to sing in perfect harmony is where my thoughts began, segued into Hands Across America, and the world will be a better place for us in all shapes and sizes. All shapes and sizes was a huge playing field, and I look forward to seeing what my fellow competitors will create. Well, she's right about that. It was one of our more open-ended themes, and I really like to throw people for a loop sometimes and throw them a theme that can be interpreted in many different ways. So let's have a look at what Evelyn's done here. Here's a close-up. So she's created a globe and she's attached different figures and icons on that globe. So we're going to go through and I'll show you a better view of what they looked like. So here's her workspace with her wire and her steel block for hammering and all of her pieces. So here's the base wire. And here's her sketch. I just love seeing people's sketches. So she's got shapes holding hands, and she's got the idea for the spiral. She had an idea there for the globe. So it's really great to see how people come across with their ideas. So the base is done with a obviously thicker wire. It looks almost like a galvanized steel or something. I just love the figures. I think they almost work on their own. They're a little bit hard to see on the globe, but when you see them flat like that, they're very ingenious. I just love the way they look. Each one is very different. I love the way she's done this one with the little, looks like a little mouth, and the way it's woven to be suspended within that circle. She's got some glasses. She's got a diamond kind of kite shape, and then the triangles. Putting it all together is always tricky, but she's found a way to wind it on. And I'm sure if you saw it in person, it would be interesting to rotate it and to have a look at all the pieces. So here's her triangle with the glasses and the diamond, and then there's a star on the other side. So I thought it was a really fun concept. I think it's very interesting to see how everybody's interpreting this theme. I loved the weaving. I loved her shapes. I thought it was a really cool concept, and she did a really good job of putting it together in a way that's really solid. Patricia, what did you think of Evelyn's work?
It is hard to photograph a three-dimensional shape, especially with all the spaces in it. So it was nice to see those flat photos. And I thought all her little shape figures were so fun. And, it's amazing how we only need a few minimal details to recognize something as a human shape. These shapes, you put a couple of little legs on them or glasses, and we read them as akin to humans. So that was fun. I really liked her concept that people do come in all shapes and sizes, and that acceptance is very important because we're all different and we have to be aware of that and accept all the differences. So I really liked her idea about that. The figures being the lighter copper color showed up very well on the darker sphere shape. And yeah, I thought there was really a lot involved in this piece, and I was very impressed.
Great job, Evelyn. Next, we have Mustafa, and Mustafa writes, I had a lot of ideas this week, but this is what I came up with, inspired by the structure of DNA. This wire sculpture explores the idea that diverse shapes and scales form the foundation of creation. A spiraling helix acts as the central structure, referencing the natural architecture of life, while geometric forms such as circles, triangles, and squares replace traditional DNA base pairs. Each shape appears in varying sizes, symbolizing diversity, variation, and growth within systems of design nature. The upward spiral introduces a sense of movement and evolution, suggesting that simple forms can combine to create complex structures. Crafted entirely from wire, the piece highlights balance, experimentation, and craftsmanship while celebrating how different shapes and sizes coexist to build a unified whole. Now, Mustafa did send us a few pictures. This one's a little more dramatic with the light shining down. And this one shows all the pieces really well with the spiral and the geometric forms. Here's another view. It looks like it's laying on its side, this
Yeah.
one. Patricia, what did you think of Mustafa's work today?
Well, as always, he has a very complex thought process, and that's impressive. I really liked how this spiral stood up so solidly and all these shapes around it. I sort of wanted to pick up all the shapes and put them on the coil and watch them slide down. And then you
Ooh,
could form different DNA every time you put different shapes on there. And then you could turn it upside down and they would all spiral off. So I thought that would be fun and maybe doable. And yeah, so again, I like the colors and all the different shapes. And again, very thoughtful presentation as always.
Nice. I like your idea of making it a game. I mean, Mustafa could go into a new area of expertise, game designing. He had the
Uh,
dice and now he's got this one. That's awesome. I like that this one is very solid. He's used a really decent gauge of wire that holds on its own and stands up. And you had mentioned that maybe it would be fun as a mobile, like twisting around. I know he's done mobiles in the past, so it changes it up a bit, having it more freestanding and his own take on the DNA. I like the way his mind is being creative with the theme and thinking a little bit outside the box as well. I would have maybe liked the pieces to be a little bit more cohesive as a art piece, like maybe have a few more things attached, but that's personal preference. It works well as a display. I could see it in a museum where they've gone in and set it up in a certain way and they've taped around the outside so you can't touch all the little pieces. It's nice he's used a little bit of color too with the rings and the geometric shapes. So I agree with you. It would be nice to touch it and to play with it and to figure it all out. It's really cool. And as always, Mustafa has a nice, thoughtful description of his work. It's really fun. Good job, Mustafa. So thank you to all the viewers who voted for their favorite creation this week and left such great feedback for the artist. I will link up a document where you could see all the previous works of art in the competition and read all the feedback from the viewers. The viewer's choice for week 5 is Julie. Congratulations, Julie, for being the viewer's choice this week. And now comes the fun part where we get to choose our 3 favorites. We're going to see who's going to have a place in the finale this year. So, Patricia, who were your 3 favorites this week?
My three favorites are Sharon, Julie, and Evelyn.
And my 3 favorites this week were Julie, Sharon, and Evelyn. So we have another tie for the top live wire for week 5. And the top live wires for week 5 are Julie and Sharon. Yay! So that means, unfortunately, Mustafa will not be automatically in the finals this year. But as you guys know, we have a twist this year, which is the wild card. So we're going to look at all the wild card submissions now. Our first participant in the wild card is Wendy. So you guys saw Wendy's work in all of the previous episodes, including My Life in Wire, Wired for Gold, Play It by Ear, Come Sail Away. And this week she submitted all shapes and sizes. So she's got her little figures there in all shapes and sizes. Next, we have Amy C. Amy C has My Life in Wire, Wired for Gold, Play It by Ear, Come Sail Away, and this is hers this week, all shapes and sizes. And Amy gets a special shout out because she is always the very first person to submit each week. So, congratulations, Amy, for being so quick and efficient and for sharing your lovely whimsical work. And next we have Mustafa, who you saw today with his all shapes and sizes. So here's his My Life in Wire with the transformer. We have Wired for Gold with his torch. Come Sail Away, which was the mobile that was last week, actually. That was week 4. And then Play It by Ear was his dice. Then we have Melissa. So Melissa did My Life in Wire, which was the map of her home state. Wired in Gold was the figure skater. Play It by Ear. Come Sail Away, which was the hot air balloon. And then this week she submitted a mobile with all shapes and sizes. So she's done birds, and you could see close up of her birds here. So Patricia, who is your choice for the wildcard participant that's going to be included in the finals?
My choice is Mustafa.
Yeah, I agree with you. I believe that Mustafa has done a really consistent job of thinking a bit outside the box and really doing a variety of work and interesting techniques. So Mustafa, you're back in the finales. And thank you very much to everybody who has submitted work along the way. We super appreciate all your incredible creations. I can't wait to see what the finalists are going to create next week. And don't forget to vote next Monday for your favorite in the finals. Be sure to check out the Facebook group for all kinds of updates and photos. I'll link up the PDF with all the photos of the creations in the description below the video, along with the viewers' feedback. So thank you, Patricia, so much for being such a great judge
Oh,
on What Life
it's
Was
so
Doing.
fun. I can't wait to see next week's work.
Oh, yeah, it's really exciting. Thanks, everybody, for watching, and we'll see you the next time. Bye.